With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace. Etc.
His supernatural powers had a karmic connection to his past life. Venerable Maudgalyāyana, Vegan, A Compassionate Protector's Miraculous Journey, Part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Welcome to Venerable Maudgalyāyana, Vegan, A Compassionate Protector's Miraculous Journey, Part 1 of 2. The Venerable Maudgalyāyana, also known as Maha Samadhi, was one of the 10 most revered disciples of venerated enlightened master, the worshipped Sakyamuni Buddha, Vegan, the world-honored one. The spiritual pairing of Maudgalyāyana and the venerated Sariputra, Vegan, who was also one of Buddha's chief disciples, is significant. The two had developed a strong and unique affinity through several prior existences together over numerous past lifetimes with the future Sakyamuni Buddha. The various abilities that they developed suited them to work as perfect assistants, maintaining concord stability and discipline within the congregation of the Buddha's order of monks. During the first 2 years after the Buddha attained enlightenment, when these two chief disciples-to-be approached the Sangha for the first time, seeking Sakyamuni Buddha's teaching, he immediately recognized them and requested that Maudgalyāyana and Sariputra take their destined positions by his side. The path that led Maudgalyāyana to become a revered assistant of Sakyamuni Buddha was instigated numerous eons ago through merits earned by Sariputra with the worshipped Anumadasi Buddha. According to the Theravada tradition, Anumadasi Buddha was one of the 28 Buddhas listed in the Buddha Vamsa. At that time, Sariputra spontaneously attended the Sangha of Anumadasi Buddha. Becoming completely enraptured by the proceedings of the congregation, he held an umbrella to protect the Buddha from the sun for 7 days. Due to this merit, Anumadasi Buddha predicted that, in the distant future, Sariputra would become one of the chief disciples of Gautama Buddha, alongside his close friend Maudgalyāyana. They would serve as Sakyamuni Buddha's right and left-hand assistants, respectively. Maudgalyāyana's birth name was Kalita, and he was born to a Brahmin family in the 6th century BC in the ancient kingdom of Magadha, now part of the Indian state of Bihar. On the same day, Sariputra was born to a neighboring Brahmin family and was named Upatisya. The two old friends grew up together as practically inseparable twins, leading the typical life of affluence in that era. However, during one of the numerous festivals that they often attended with their friends for idle amusement, Kalita began to ponder the frivolity and the lack of meaning of such pursuits. Upatisya was simultaneously feeling a growing sense of unease with this kind of life. Together, they resolved from that moment onward they would instead lead truly meaningful lives as wandering ascetics in search of a worthy spiritual teacher who could guide them to the truth. Later, while in Rajagaha, under the guidance of an ascetic teacher named Sanjaya, yet another fruitless practice rendered both Kalita and Upatisya intensely dissatisfied, so they left. Kalita and Upatisya resolved to temporarily part ways to continue their spiritual search, agreeing that whoever found the true master of spiritual enlightenment first would share the discovery with the other. Upatisya soon encountered a practitioner with an unusually serene demeanor, the Venerable Asaji, Vegan. Asaji revealed that he was a disciple of the perfectly self-enlightened Buddha. Retracing his steps, Upatissa joyously informed Kalita of their amazing good fortune. Moreover, every resident of Sanjay's ashram followed them to the Veluvana monastery, where Shakyamuni Buddha was staying. All immediately transformed into bhikkhus upon respectfully bowing their heads at the world honor one, Sakyamuni Buddha's feet. Upon their ordination, Upatissa and Kalita came to be known as Sariputra and Maudgalyāyana. Even though Maudgalyāyana and Sariputra immediately became the Buddha's left and right-hand assistants, they had not yet practiced, therefore not attained the 3 higher paths. Consequently, a period of diligent practice immediately followed their entry into the Sangha. After making strenuous efforts for 6 days, Maudgalyāyana became tired and fell into a complete state of lethargy. The Buddha quickly roused him with instructions so that by the end of the 7th day, he achieved arahantship. Meanwhile, Sariputra spent 15 days in the presence of the Buddha to reach the arahant status. Each reached an attainment in accord with their designated future roles. Among Shakyamuni Buddha's disciples, Maudgalyāyana was foremost in supernatural powers, using them to protect the Dharma. He possessed 6 types of supernatural abilities: the divine eye, or clairvoyance, divine ear, or clairaudience, mind reading, knowledge of past lives, the extinction of defilements, and the ability to travel freely through space, or teleportation. His supernatural powers had a karmic connection to his past life when he was a fisherperson. He realized that his livelihood was creating bad karma and decided to change to more virtuous ways. Later, he encountered a Pratika Buddha, or solitary enlightened one. Deeply impressed by his dignified manner, he invited the Pratika Buddha to his house to receive offerings. After offering him a meal, Maudgalyāyana witnessed the Pratika Buddha rise into the air and move freely in all directions. Inspired, he made a vow to attain such powers in a future life. Through his determination, Maudgalyāyana's wish came true, and in this life, as a disciple of the Buddha, he became the foremost in supernatural abilities. The Venerable Maudgalyāyana asked for permission to perform a miraculous feat.
Kindly permit me to perform a feat of miracle.
Dear son Maudgalyāyana, how would you demonstrate?
I will reduce the Mount Meru to the size of a mustard seed, shelf it in between the fishes of my teeth, and chew it in the presence of the spectators.
How else would you demonstrate?
The earth will be rolled up like a small thin mat, and I will keep it in between my fingers.
Any other way?
Like a potter's wheel for grinding earth, I will turn up the great earth and beat the populace here with the fertile topsoil that lies under the surface.
How else?
This earth will be put on the palm of my left hand, and human beings will be placed on another island continent.
Acknowledging Maudgalyāyana's miraculous powers, the Buddha denied giving Maudgalyāyana permission to use them. He then lectured to Maudgalyāyana and the Sangha about the inconsequence of magical power next to the incomparable Buddha nature. The Buddha revealed to them a myriad of impressive manifestations and declared,
Let there be illumination throughout the 10,000 universes.
During a 1991 lecture in Taiwan, also known as Formosa, our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai, vegan, explained why the Buddha forbade Maudgalyāyana from using magical powers. Even though Buddha himself manifested countless forms and used great powers to help beings in heaven and hell,
他那个目犍连的神通就是凡夫的神通，用意气控制，用念咒、用法术可以得到，还是要用这个身体才能够做事。佛的神通就是超越的神通，它是无我的神通，它做而不做的，度众生。不过没有认为 有众生可度，做事不过没有那种认为自己做的那个等级，不是目前人可以了解。目前人是用那种呼啦呼啦和念咒啊，那手术法术可以得出来。那当然呢，会介入别人的因果。做事很无明，用我慢族来做，我可以改变这个，我可以改变那个，找麻烦给自己呀，那个会造出业障，因为介入宇宙的因果。
The Mahavajñākutta Sutra tells of Maudgalyāyana's quest to find out how far the voice of the Buddha carries. The Buddha decided to indulge Maudgalyāyana, giving him the ability to use his spiritual power of unimpeded functioning of the body to journey to the very edge of this great world system of 1 billion worlds. Maudgalyāyana traveled through the fantastic realms of space to a distant star system called the Banner of Light, to a planet where a Samyaksambuddha also resides with numerous disciples. Maudgalyāyana experienced him teaching just as the Buddha on earth did, except that they all had enormous bodies. The Buddha of that world explained to him,
"The vast range of the voices of the Buddhas, the thus come ones, absolutely transcends any limits. Their voices are majestic and infinite and cannot be understood even by means of analogy."
However, Maudgalyāyana still felt confused. He thus earnestly prayed to the Buddha to return him home. When he did, Maudgalyāyana humbled himself before the worshipped Sakyamuni Buddha and reproached himself for comparing his own power to that of the infinite power of the Buddha. Welcome to Venerable Maudgalyāyana, Vegan, a compassionate protector's miraculous journey, part 2 of 2. The Venerable Maudgalyāyana was one of the 10 most revered disciples of venerated enlightened master, the worshipped Sakyamuni Buddha Vegan, the world-honored one. Among Shakyamuni Buddha's disciples, Maudgalyāyana was foremost in supernatural powers, using them to protect the Dharma. The Buddha's cousin and brother-in-law, Devadatta, motivated by jealousy and ambition, sought to take control of the Sangha from the Buddha. He proposed 5 extreme ascetic rules, claiming they should be mandatory for all monks. Devadatta managed to convince 500 newly ordained monks to follow him away from the Buddha Sangha to Gayasissa, where he had a monastery. The Buddha sent Maudgalyāyana and the venerated Sariputra, Vegan, who was also one of Buddha's chief disciples, to bring back the misled monks. When they arrived at Devadatta's monastery, Devadatta initially welcomed them, thinking they had joined his cause. After preaching all night, Devadatta, exhausted and lacking mindfulness, fell asleep. Sariputra then calmly and with well-reasoned talks guided the 500 young monks, helping them recognize their mental states and teaching them which dhammas to cultivate. Maudgalyāyana followed with miraculous displays and further teachings. As a result, all 500 monks attained Sotapanna, the fruition of stream entry. Once the monks reached this level of realization, Sariputra informed them that he and Maudgalyāyana were returning to the Buddha and invited those who resonated with Buddha's teachings to join. All 500 monks chose to follow, and using their supernatural powers, Sariputra and Maudgalyāyana led them through the air, arriving at Velovana to reunite with the Buddha. Maudgalyāyana frequently traveled not only to the Buddha realms, but also used his supernatural powers to visit the hell realms, observing the consequences of beings' good and bad actions. One day, Maudgalyāyana was walking along the banks of the Ganges River. As the evening sky darkened, he decided to stop and sat quietly on the riverbank. Later, many hungry ghosts gathered near the river, hoping to drink water to quench their hunger and thirst. However, a fierce guardian ghost wielding an iron rod appeared, driving them away. Maudgalyāyana sat calmly, observing the different punishments they endured, and called them over. The hungry ghosts approached and began asking him about the causes of their suffering. The first ghost asked,
"Venerable One, in our previous lives we were humans, But now we have fallen into this miserable existence as hungry ghosts, constantly suffering from hunger and thirst. We've heard that the water of the Ganges is cool and refreshing, yet whenever we attempt to drink it, it turns boiling hot. If we take even a sip, it burns our insides, and the guardian ghost strikes us with an iron rod, driving us away. Venerable One, what deeds did we commit to deserve such suffering?
Maudgalyāyana, using his supernatural insight into the past, present, and future, replied,
In a past life, as a fortune teller, you spoke more lies than truth. You gave praise or criticism based on whims, pretending to know, deceiving people for personal gain. This is why you now face this karmic retribution.
The second ghost asked,
Venerable One, I'm constantly attacked by fierce beasts that devour my body. After they eat all my flesh, the wind blows over my bones and my body regenerates, only for the beasts to attack me again. What did I do in my past life to deserve such a dreadful punishment?
Maudgalyāyana replied,
In your past life, you slaughtered innocent chicken, duck, pig, and sheep people as sacrifices. As a result, you now endure this punishment.
Venerable Maudgalyāyana encountered hungry ghosts seeking the cause of their suffering. Using his supernatural powers, he answered their questions. The third ghost asked,
Venerable One, my stomach is as large as a barrel, yet my throat is as narrow as a needle. Though I see delicious food before me, I am unable to eat it. What did I do to deserve this fate?
Maudgalyāyana replied,
In your past life, as a powerful official who indulged in luxury, you oppressed others and took their hard-earned possessions by force. Now you face the consequences of those actions.
The fourth ghost then stepped forward and asked,
Venerable One, my body is covered with mouths, and blood constantly gushes up from below, making my head swell as large as a bucket. My veins are on the verge of bursting, and my life hangs by a thread. What caused me to suffer this punishment?
Maudgalyāyana replied,
In your past life, you spread gossip and caused harm with your words. You never spoke to benefit others, but only to create suffering. Now, you face the consequences of those actions.
During a conference in 2011, our most beloved Supreme Master Jinghai, vegan, mentioned that Maudgalyāyana discovered his deceased mother was residing in the realm of hungry ghosts.
He went to hell. He used his magical power to go to hell to visit his mother and want to take her out, but he could not. He's not powerful enough, even with his magical power. But he could visit her, and then he manifests some food to give it to her to eat because she was very hungry down there. She was not allowed to be fed anything, and then he fed her food. And whenever the food came to her mouth, it became burning coal, burning hot fire coal, so she could not swallow. And when he came back and cried to the Buddha, after saw his mother in hell and could not feed her, he cried to the Buddha for help, for blessing to save his mother. The Buddha said, I am also powerless because your mother's bad karma is too heavy. So if you want to save your mother, you have to make a food offering to the whole Sangha here, to the whole monkshood here. And then they will pray for your mother, then their united power will help your mother to go to heaven. The Buddha advised him to bring 5 kinds of food and 5 kinds of fruit. It's to symbolize the 5th level, no?
Oh, yes, Master.
So after Mudgalyāyana brought food and fruit offering to the whole congregation of monks there, then his mother was liberated immediately.
Wow.
So it took a lot of monks, everybody took a little bit of bad karma, so she was liberated.
The Jataka tales primarily recount the previous lives of Shakyamuni Buddha, revealing his various past relationships, including those with his disciples. Notably, his interactions with Maudgalyāyana spanned 31 lifetimes. In nearly all these accounts, Satriputra was also present, appearing as a friend, brother, minister, son, or disciple. In another existence, Maudgalyāyana and Satriputra were miserly humans hoarding riches together, later reborn as a snake person and a rat individual near their treasure. Yet, when Maudgalyāyana was a grainkeeper and Satriputra a merchant, both were careful to abide by the precept of not stealing. Shortly after the passing of his friend Satriputra, Maudgalyāyana was confronted by Mara, who waited in the doorway of his tiny hut in the Kalasila forest. Aware that his own time was near, Maudgalyāyana reflected on the root of his many existences and the path to final liberation from them. Maudgalyāyana recognized that this Mara was once his own nephew, when he himself was Mara Dusi, Lord of Hell, a pitiful incarnation made much worse when he injured a saint and was consequently cast into the deepest hell for thousands of years. Although Maudgalyāyana's liberation would be attained through the Buddha, the karmic debts from a past life were yet to be paid when he had brutally murdered his own parents. Thus, the cause of his death in this life would also be violent and callous. Attacked in his hut, Maudgalyāyana's 84-year-old body was almost completely broken. However, he maintained his inner serenity. He dragged his mangled frame in front of the feet of his beloved master before his Maha Samadhi, when he consciously decided to leave his physical body. This occurred just 6 months before the Maha Parinirvana of world-honored one, Shakyamuni Buddha. In the Lotus Sutra, the worshipped Sakyamuni Buddha predicts that Maudgalyāyana would attain Buddhahood in the distant future, after countless kalpas, or eons, and his Buddha name will be Tamara Wood Sandalwood. We are grateful for the sutras and other great texts that have recorded the life and teachings of the great Sakyamuni Buddha.
Vegan side effect: never felt better about yourself.
Noble viewers, we appreciate your company today. Up next is Why People Are Attracted to Practitioners, Part 1 of 3 on Between Master and Disciples, here on Supreme Master Television. May Buddha's light always shine upon you.
Being vegan, having peace, heaven Godspeed.